thinking. So start thinking is itself is the beginning of a research. Start inquiring. This itself is a beginning of a research. So don't think that only researchers would do research. You also in search of, right? You search of an inquiry. Or as a human beings, always you think. You find a solution to many problems. All that. Now, the researchers show in India that educational inequality is widening. So that's what also our topic, unequal learning, right? So broadly speaking, educational inequality means different sections of the society are not getting equal access to education, right? You look at the different sections of society. I do research on Ladakh. I've been working on Ladakh. I have a couple of research on Himalaya, not only Ladakh, entire Himalaya, Indian Himalaya. I do work on ecological issues. I do work on climate change. I do work on educational policies. I do work on sociology of education. So a couple of research would tell us that, not only my research, other research also, broadly telling us that educational inequality rampant in India. Okay? All the children are not getting education of your age. Fine? When I start teaching students in JNU University in 2005, roughly, say if you take 100 students, roughly 12 students or 12 to 14 students would get a higher education out of 100. Okay. 20 years back, out of 100 age group, say for example 15 to 27, 28, take 100 people in this age group, only 12 to 14 or 15. That means around 85% of the age group outside of a educational institution, higher education institutions. Now it must have, we do not have exact data, but it must have gone to around 20 or 23%, 20%. Again, after 20 years, when I start my career as a teacher, it was just, say, 14%. Now it must come to 20 to 22%. Again, 78% of the students, age group, do not get access to higher education. That means large section of your age group outside of the college. Understand? Get it? So you are the luckiest one, right? So fortunate you all are. Got access to study. Right? Many are outside. They could not get access to higher education. There are many other reasons. I am not going to different reasons. You say that poor quality. That student is a poor student. No? You can imagine your classmate, school classmates, how many got into the colleges. Just imagine. Among your classmates in the school, how many got access to colleges? How long you must have walked to reach out to your school? I know Ladakh. How long you must have walked to reach out to your school? Right? How much you must have struggled to get to education institutions. See, therefore, the question of access is very important. Right? So, unequal learning is the result of unequal access to education. The reason behind unequal learning is what is the reason? Unequal access to education. Fine. It is a very important question. It's not only a question of education, it's also a question of politics. Whether we get access to education, what is the role of the state? We are fortunate because education is free. In a democratic society, education has to be free. Right? It should be accessible to all. But in reality, it is not. right? Therefore, in the future, this educational inequality will reproduce social inequality. Okay? As a student of social sciences or a sociology, we should be concerned about these problems. Right? What we are learning, what is the meaning of the learning, what will be impact of our society. Now, if I ask you a question, if education is producing inequality, then what is the meaning of education? What we are going to contribute in our society? Right? Large section of the society, people are outside of the educational system. Right? It creates tension, right? Indian society is full of tension, and education also creating another set of tension, confusion, so on and so forth. So therefore, we should be very sensitive about the opportunities given to us, and then also taking these opportunities very seriously. Right? That is the task or a responsibility of us as educated. Right? We all are educated. Don't think that anybody is poor in education. No, we all are educated. We all are higher educated, right? You claim that. In other words, we are intellectuals. Right? In the future, you are going to shape our society, either as a bureaucrat, or as a good scientist, or as a teacher, right? Or a good administrator, or a good politician. Right? And all these characters need intellectual capacity, quality. Education would trigger this quality. Right? I am not undermining education. Education has a purpose. So we are going to become an intellectual community in the future to shape, to progress our society. Therefore, we should be taking education very seriously. Otherwise, we would say that it's a rote learning. You come, right, without taking any responsibility of education, either from the teacher side or from the student side, would end up saying that there is a poor quality of education. Research would also tell us that. The research is going on now. What is going on in the classroom? So much of the study would say that there is poor quality of teaching going on. Right? Who is responsible for? Teachers. Right? So teacher says that it's a student, and students say that teachers. So we blame each other. Right? So end of the story. So without thinking about what exactly going on, right? So I would come to some of the critical questions like that. We should also possess an identity like a student. And who is a student? Okay? How do you define yourself as a student? In this book, there is a chapter, okay, that discusses about who is a student, and that chapter is written by a student. Okay, and he goes on to explain that a student is a student of the problem. Right? You all are sitting in this classroom because you all are worried about yourself as well as the future of a society. Both. Otherwise, you are not made to be here. Right? That defines who you are as a student. Right? So we have a social concern, not only for ourselves, but also society at large. That's what sociology of education is all about. That makes new meaning to education, new meaning to the life of an individual. Because we all are social beings. Sociology talks about that being.